What does freedom mean to you? Does it mean the freedom to choose? The freedom to have a family and raise your kids according to your own values? What about living a wild, adventurous life, experimenting with music, relationships, or art? What does freedom really mean? What if freedom meant something that only a few Americans still understood? What if it meant that your choices and your values were set by you, rather than by some politician in a far-off capital? Some people think we're only free to choose to live exactly how they live, by their moral code, or their narrow worldviews. But if liberty means anything, it means that you, and you alone, have the power to exercise your rights to which the laws of nature and nature's God granted you. It's time to put these principles back into action. It's time to restore the American dream, activate in our communities, and take our country back. It's time to wake up, America. Good morning, Rise in Freedom. Happy Monday. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the Cantina crew, which I see many of you are here already. Ann, Henry, Amanda, as we learned last week, Chris Morrill, Caleb Vanderfelts, the lovely Steffi P. joined us this morning, nice and early. Good to see you here on a Monday. Thanks for coming in so early. We appreciate that very much. We've got a lot of great programming for you today. An article that I read over the weekend in Entrepreneur magazine titled 6 Things That Gen Z Employees Want Their Managers to Know About the Workplace in 2023 had my blood boiling just a little bit. 6 things that the kids want you to know, boss. They're going to tell you. We're going to talk about that at the top of the program. At 7:18 today, we're going to pull some clips from Davos. And as usual, I'm going to infuriate everyone with my views on these clips of the elites who are controlling the world. And some of the clips are funny and some of the clips are serious. And some of the things I agree with what traditional right-wingers are complaining about. Some of the other things are, well, traditional right-wingers are full of about, right? Because I think for myself, I consider myself a member of the right, but a free thinker. I'm mostly libertarian, but I don't drink the Kool-Aid. That's just how it is. So I'll play those clips for you for Davos, and we'll discuss at 7:18. And people will be infuriated, I'm sure, no matter what. At 7:30 this morning, we're going to have a little bit of fun. My buddy Brandon Ellison is going to call into this show all the way from Thailand. That's right, Ong Bak, Thailand, Ong Bak. Gonna call in and talk to us about George Santos. He dressed in drag, but he wasn't a queen. That's right. Freshman Congressman George Santos of New York. Photographs emerged of him at a festival in Brazil. He said he was young. He was just trying to have fun. It reminds me a little bit of that quote from Priscilla Presley from Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen, where he goes, I found some photographs of you. And she goes, I was young. I needed the money. He was young. He needed the money.
Why are you gay?
We'll talk to Brandon Ellison about that, as well as closeted Republicans, which is, the kind of thing that gets you canceled from St. Louis radio stations. We'll talk about that at 7:30 with Brandon, and we'll have some fun and some laughs. At 7:50 this morning, Google fears ChatGPT. Yes, the artificial intelligence, which has revolutionized my workflow here, and which could change yours as well. I'm, quickly becoming an evangelist for this new artificial intelligence technology. Google is terrified of it. They are absolutely shaken in their boots out in Silicon Valley. Their Prada, their Gucci boots. We'll talk to, actually, it'll just be me. Google is scrambling to catch up. I thought I had a guest. I was wrong. Google is scrambling to catch up with this new platform, and we'll talk about why this platform could help replace Google for a lot of the work that you ask Google to do. Don't you get sick of all the ads that you see on Google every time you do a search, and then you have to sift through all of the results? Well, I'll tell you, this new artificial intelligence technology can help you save a lot of time and energy on things. Stephanie used it the other day when I was like, do you need information on how to try and save the palm tree plant that you killed by leaving out in the cold and by overwatering? Yeah, she's been searching on Google for days on how to save her plant, and you know what? All she needed to do was ask the AI. Hmm. We'll talk about that at 7:50 this morning. At 8 o'clock, Hal Dooley joins us in studio. Good old Hal. We can't wait to have him in studio with us today to talk about the fifth trove of classified documents that were found at Joe Biden's house in Delaware. Yeah, the fifth trove of classified documents. These people are scrambling. And what's hilarious is that the people who are doing this, they're coming from the left, right? These are coming from the government. The people who are throwing Joe Biden under the bus are the people that work for him on these classified documents. What is it all about? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Send me a text at 573 319 1586. That's 573 319 1586. We'd love to hear from you this morning on your thoughts on this one. Let's see. Caleb's there he is, Caleb Vanderfeld. He sent us some deer jerky this morning. I'm gonna be sharing some with Hal today when he comes in. It'll be good stuff. We'll give a deer jerky review. How about that? Also, we went to Papo's Pizza last night here in Jefferson City. Remind me to tell you about that experience, Caleb Vanderfeld's. Florida is a snooze fest compared to New York City. This one made me laugh. And the New York Post, Cindy Adams wrote an article. Florida is a snooze fest compared to New York. She says, enough with people schlepping to Florida. Florida began 1,400 years ago. Nobody younger has been there since. Those in the state now could have been original settlers. Their average age is deceased. Hilarious. Okay, well, we'll talk about that with Hal at 8:23 this morning. He's a big Florida fan, and I'm sure he's been to New York City a few times. At 8:35 this morning, we'll talk about Prince Harry. Prince Harry, he just can't do anything right. Scoffs at Elvis Presley's Graceland, suggests that the interior designer was, quote, on acid. In his new book, Prince Harry quips that Elvis Presley's interior designer must have been on acid when decorating the Graceland estate. This kid cannot do anything right. And I'll tell you, it's one thing. There's a meme that goes around that says, typical me whenever we talk about the American government, screw the government, burn it all down. I hate it. End of our country. Our country's over. Blah blah blah. But then whenever a European voices one of their European opinions, it's all patriotic and 4th of July and American flag and gold and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel whenever I hear Prince Harry offering his opinion on things. Don't you? We'll talk about that with Hal. Prince Harry. And it's funny because I won't say I hate Elvis. I think I've said I hate Elvis in the past. I don't hate Elvis. I prefer the Beatles, but I'm not an Elvis fan. Let's just say that, right? But it's one thing for me, an American, born in Independence, raised in Peculiar on a horse farm, a good all American boy. It's one thing for an American boy to be a heretic and say, you know what? I'm not really a big Elvis fan. It's another thing entirely for Prince Harry, for a limey, to come to the United States and talk smack about Graceland. Even then, now I've got to stand up and start defending Elvis Presley, and I didn't want to do that. Prince Harry, you've got me defending Elvis. We'll talk about that at 8:30 this morning with Hal. At 8:49 this morning, sometimes I just like to do a little pop culture stuff. This stuff makes me laugh. The most chaotic ways people found out they were being cheated on. So why did I choose to do this story? Okay, so confession time. I have been spending a little bit more time on TikTok lately. I know. But I've been getting a lot of traction. A lot of my videos that I've been posting over there have been getting a lot of traction, hundreds of thousands of views, right? Where you kind of struggle on YouTube. Although lately it's been a little bit less than a struggle. I've had some pretty wild success on YouTube. It's been getting crazy. But the TikTokers have been sort of like invading my mind. So I saw a video about how Shakira f- found out that her husband was cheating on her, and it had to do with, I think, strawberry jelly. I'm not sure what kind of jelly it was. But at the end of the program today, we're going to talk about that, about how Shakira found out that her husband was cheating on her using jelly. And then I found this article that said it was all these lists of things, the most chaotic ways people found out that they were being cheated on. So I was like, oh, okay, well, this is fun. We'll end the show with that. Just, it's kind of fun to end with like something crazy or wild or silly. Remember the other day when we did the show and we ended the program where we talked about the license plates, the disgusting, dirty license plates that everybody put on there. And then I was goofing off and being like, pretending like I didn't know what the license plates actually said. See, that was a good time. You can text the show at 573-319-1586. Amanda's like, what moron in their right mind would cheat on Shakira? Exactly. Thank you. That's insane. It was watermelon sugar. Hi, good morning, Tom. Nice to see you today. Yeah, it's been exciting on YouTube to see everything that's been going on. I mean, I've basically added like 2,000 new subscribers in the last week because of the Franklin Delano Roosevelt video going viral, and then my George Washington the Guns of the President series has been just a massive, massive hit. The only funny thing is that so short videos like the ones that I'm producing right now, they don't get monetized. So I have this viral hit and it's not making any money. But the shorts will be monetized starting on February 1st, which is like what 10 days or some odd from now. I have no idea. I can't do math. Um, so it's good. I guarantee what's going to happen is that my shorts are going to all of a sudden, not be viral once February 1st hits. It's just my luck. So why don't you send us a super chat in sympathy if you liked any of the Guns of the President videos? If you thought that they were good, send us a super chat today on YouTube at youtube.com/AP for Liberty. All right, Austin, how much time have you wasted and not talked about the news? 6 things Gen Z employers want their managers to know about the workplace in 2023. All right, so what is Gen Z? Any individual born after 1997. The millennial generation is my generation. I'm like the most geriatric of millennials. 1981 to 1996, right? So we're starting to become leaders, managers, directors at our companies, and employees are 20, 25 years old. That's Gen Z, right? So they're turning 25. And Gen Z is starting to make demands in the workplace. And one of the big demands that they have is they want ESG. They want the environmental social governance, which is funny because, again, when we get to the Davos thing here in just a few minutes, where we talk about the elites controlling the world, I am less and less convinced of that conspiracy theory. Um, my belief is that the retards are running the world, that the masses are running the world, and that's why it's almost. And I know that this would get me burned at the stake at like any kind of right wing populist meeting, but the elites are just doing whatever they think the masses want in order to enrich themselves, right? Whether it's through the media or whatever, they're just telling you what you want to hear. And when you think about it, we're getting what we vote for, right? It's kind of like H.L. Mencken's like democracy is the theory that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard, right? I almost wish that there were some super elites who were brilliant and who could control things and fix all of the problems that we have, right? Because quite frankly, the democratic processes that we've had so far have not been working out so great for us, have they? But ESG corporations, you think that this is some top down sort of control thing that the elites are trying to foist on us through these ESGs. No, it's the stupid masses who are demanding this stuff. You have to understand, we the free thinking types, like individualists and stuff like that, we are the minority. Right? We like to think because well there's a good number of us and we can sometimes get in our own control grid or in our own matrix where we only see and consume and we get an echo chamber. We're only consuming media that agrees with us. We think, oh well, there's plenty of us out there. No, the fact is that most of the young people these days are for ESGs. They're in favor of that. And the corporations are putting it out there because they think that that's what people want. And a lot of these Gen Z young people, of which there are like, what, 61 million? Let's see, this group makes up 20% of the American population, 67 million people. It's a lot of people. And they want ESGs. Gen Z shares a bigger interest. This is according to this article from Entrepreneur, a bigger interest in social consciousness related to environmental and sustainability matters. 58% of Gen Z feels that their company needs to be more environmentally responsible. Imagine trying to start a company these days and having to deal with young people demanding that you meet some kind of like recycling goal when you have known for years ever since you saw Penn and Teller's show Bullshit, that recycling has been, always will be, is now and always will be absolute BS, right? So these young people are demanding these ESG efforts, right? So is this really being foisted on us by the elites, or is this something that stupid people are demanding, and the elites, the smart people who are rich, are going, oh, well, all the stupid people are demanding this, and we make more money from it anyway. So or we're just going to cheat on our emissions anyway. So we'll just tell them we're going to do this, and it just gives us more control or more power or more money anyway. Another thing that Gen Z is demanding of their employers is to take mental health seriously. It reminds me of that girl who's like, self-diagnosed, you can't kick me outside. Everybody has got some neurodivergent issue, right? Take mental health seriously. They are taking mental health seriously, so they're giving them mental health days and things like that. And companies like Microsoft are offering unlimited paid time off. And I have to say that it's quite annoying having, here's the thing. I want to take mental health seriously, but it's been trivialized. Okay. I want to take you and your problems seriously. I want to be empathetic to your concerns. And people who have real mental health issues, I certainly absolutely sympathize with, but not some self diagnosed Gen Z kid on TikTok. Okay. Purple hair and the nose ring and crying about how they have schizophrenia and they're self diagnosed and they don't want to have to get a job and they can't work. I have no sympathy. Okay, I don't. Because I think that most of the quote mental health problems are either self-diagnosed or they are generative because young people watching social media are looking for victimhood status. And so they go out and they seek ways to try and, be a victim. And mental health is one of those ways. What do you think? Send us a text at 573-319-1586. All right, I got to go to a commercial break. When I get back, I'm going to play some of those Davos clips. We can continue this discussion. No one cared about straws affecting sea turtles until they were told to. Thank you. Yes, exactly. And then we all had to get those stupid paper straws. All right, now when we get back, we'll be back at commercial break just in a couple of minutes. Don't leave. And when we get back, I'll play some of those Davos clips for you because I know it's going to tick you off. We'll be back for more on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today.
Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Glad to have you here. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. You can also send us a super chat over at youtube.com/AP4Liberty. It's been kind of exciting to see all of the growth on the channel. I mean, I was looking at the analytics over the weekend. I just, Stephanie was like, hey, you're obsessed with that. We went from, very slow, steady growth, right? Moderate, maybe we'd add, 10, 20, 30 subscribers, 40 subscribers a week, right? Well, in the last week, or let's say let's look at this, subscribers of the channel. In the last 7 days, 1,472 subscribers. Yeah, it's exciting. You love to see it. Last 30 days, 1.5 thousand. So it's like we were, heading towards 11,000 subscribers. Now it's 12,084 subscribers. So lots of exciting things going on. It's all those little short videos that I'm making. They just blow up. And they'll be monetized soon. So hopefully it will actually make some money from that. All right, let's go over to Twitter weirdness. All right, so Davos finally ended last week and everybody was talking about it. These are the elites who apparently are the ones who rule the world, but I'm a little bit more dubious on this one. Let's talk about something that I think is a genuine concern, and then maybe less of a concern, or maybe it's just disappointing, but in a different way. This is Senator Joe Manchin talking about the problem of free speech here in the United States. Take a listen.
The problem that we have is the open press system and basically all the platforms. So if you're able to have 5 platforms, social platforms, that you can basically personify the extremes, somebody who is extremely right or extremely left, and it seems like that is the majority speaking. They're not the majority. but they're basically driving everybody to make a decision. What side are you on? Are you on this side or this side? And in America, there's only one side, the American side. It's not the Republican side or Democrat. We should be coming together to solve the problems from a different angle. The problem.
So here's the thing. You could misinterpret what he has to say here. You could take him quite literally, right? But his quote here, the problem we have is the open press system and basically all the platforms. Let's just listen here again and make sure that we're hearing him correctly. As Mark Twain once famously said, get the facts straight first, and then you can distort them as you please.
The problem that we have is the open press system and basically all the platforms. So if you're able to have 5 platforms,
The problem we have is the open press system here in the United States and basically all the platforms. Is that really a problem? Yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily a problem, Joe. And I mean, you're a U.S. Senator. You took an oath to defend the Constitution. Free speech is the very first amendment in that Constitution that you took an oath to. So I'm going to say that actually the problem we have in the United States is the open senator system and how it's impossible for us to recall these a-holes. Let's continue on. All right, so the next clip that I have here, this is one that I think, if I were to say this, this would be my gadfly moment, turd in the punch bowl moment. Let's listen to what the FBI director, Christopher Wray, had to say at the World Economic Forum, talking about the collaboration between the private sector and government, especially the FBI. Let's take a listen to this.
And I think the sophistication of the private sector is improving, and particularly important, the level of collaboration between the private sector and the government, especially the FBI, has, I think, made significant strides. Pretty much every technology we could talk about today, we see both great opportunity but great dangers in the wrong hands.
Okay, so very boringly delivered, but quite insidious, in some ways. And in other ways, I would call it, Tuesday. This is the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray. He says that the level of collaboration between the private sector and the government, especially the FBI, has made significant strides. I mean, consider the Twitter file drops, right? So the Twitter drops show the collaboration between the FBI and Twitter, and I'm sure it goes on with other platforms. And again, we're supposed to be outraged by this, right? I quit being outraged by this, I'll tell you, when I learned about the New Deal in high school. I quit being outraged by this when I listened to Ronald Reagan's speech, A Time for Choosing, which admittedly has quite libertarian themes. However, the most important thing that I think you can take away from this and understanding how the government and the private sector collaborate is that this is embedded in the system, ingrained in the system, and it is something that Republicans and conservatives have adopted as part of their belief system and platform since the 1960s at a minimum. There was a brief period of time when conservatives actually railed against, was what this is, the New Deal. Right. But in the terms of the collaboration between the government and the private sector, what the FBI director here is talking about is the New Deal. You can watch documentaries like America, The Story of Us from the History Channel, where they talk about during the Great Depression, how the belief was with FDR and others, other progressives, Republican progressives, that big business and big government should work together for the good of society, that we would have no more depressions if we were to have private companies and government work together. So essentially what Christopher Wray is saying here is that is the level of collaboration between the private sector and the government, especially the FBI, has made significant strides. This is the conservative platform. Unless you believe in abolishing the New Deal. There are some conservatives who do agree with libertarians on abolishing the New Deal, here's what I believe in. I believe in a separation of corporation and state. Okay, I'm a total separation of corporation and state, but you know what? That's not what conservatives believe. That's not what Republicans believe. Mostly. 99% of them. You'll find the odd conservative who's like, yeah, well, I'd like to overturn the New Deal. But no, that's a libertarian thing. So you made your bed. Sleep in it. Right? Or change your mind on the New Deal. We'll talk about George Santos. He dressed to drag, but he's not a queen. With Brandon Ellison all the way from Thailand when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself, or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Well, he dressed in drag, but he wasn't a queen. He is a congressman. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. Caleb Harris just subscribed to the channel. Glad to have you here, Caleb. Hope you're joining us on the live stream as well. It's been nice to see all the exciting growth in the channel in the last couple of weeks. Whoa. Nice to see you. If we've got any new names or faces over there, make sure you introduce yourself. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell icon. I was watching a YouTuber this weekend, real brief segue before we talk about the drag queen. And they were saying that if you tell people to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icons, that nobody really does it. Is that true? So you watch the show and you don't click like on the stream? How could you do such a thing to me? Come on, don't you want the show to grow? Do it. It's totally free. Do it! Come on, before I pull a Shia LaBeouf on your ass. All right. Lion Long Island Representative George Santos finally admitted, Santos Senor, finally admitted to dressing up as a woman in the past, though he denied he was a drag queen. While he was talking to reporters at LaGuardia Airport on Saturday, he says, "No, I was not a drag queen in Brazil, guys. I was young, and I had fun at a festival. I was young. I needed the money." He said, "Sue me for having a life." You know what? I gotta say, good for you. You know what? That's honestly, I feel like that's the right approach. Hold on. How can I have this up here and not have a picture of George Santos in drag? Let's take a transition over there to our Twitter weirdness. This is some weirdness. But there's no photograph up there on the screen. Okay, hold on. Let's get down there. Santos Senor. There he is. Nice. You know what? I think I'm going to agree with him there and say that, yeah, he may have dressed in drag, but he was definitely not a queen. Hold on. There's more photographs here. Screenshot from a 2005 video here depicting Santos in drag under the name Kitara Ravache. Kitara Ravache? I don't know. From drag queen to U.S. congressman. You know what? I messed up. I should have had some kind of scandals like that. I'll tell you. 32 people watching the show. Nice to see you over there. Never understood why it's so hard for some to hit a like button. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, Brandon Ellison, who is in Thailand, is not with us right now. I don't know why, but I did send him the chat, and so maybe he'll join us halfway through this discussion, and we'll continue on discussing it without him. So the video now has surfaced of what appeared to be the freshman Congressman George Santos in black dress and sunglasses, boasting about performing as a drag queen at the Pride Parade in the Rio suburb of Niterói in 2005. God, what was I doing in 2005? Oh, I was in New York City, not dressing in drag, but definitely doing weirder stuff, auditioning for musicals and plays. Not the worst looking chick, to be honest, says Chris Morrill. Very funny. Is it Santos or is it Santos? I want to say Los Santos. And apparently he met the guy who outed him. Yeah, I know. A guy by the name of Richard. He was already an established drag queen in a Brazilian city next to Rio de Janeiro. And she said she went by the name Anthony. Oh, she. It's a she. My bad, Richard. I'm going to get these pronouns right anymore. I know. It's... So Santos, of course, he denied that he was a drag queen, but he's not denying now that he is the person in the photos. He says, "The most recent obsession from the media claiming that I'm a drag queen or, quote, performed as a drag queen is categorically false." I don't know.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
Yeah, I know. It's only 8:39 p.m. in Bangkok. Shame, Brandon. Exactly. Thank you. Shame on Brandon. I sent him the link. It's sitting there. He's probably partying it up with the lady boys in Thailand right now and not hanging out with us. That's quite rude, Brandon. You can text the show at 573-319-1586. We'd love to hear from you on your thoughts on the George Santos. People are saying, "Oh, he needs to step down" and stuff like that. But I mean, can the left really, without being a hypocrite, demand that he steps down for being a drag queen? Well, I guess here's the thing. So they say that he's a hypocrite because he supported the Florida Don't Say Gay bill, which was not a Don't Say Gay bill. It was a don't be a pedophile, don't allow pedos in school bill. That's what we should have called it. But they say that he's a hypocrite for that because they renamed that bill to the Don't Say Gay bill. It's like, don't talk to kids about your weird habits, your strange sexual behaviors. Don't talk to kindergartners about that stuff, Bill. So I will say that George Santos is not a hypocrite for that reason. He's just hilarious. And you know what? I don't want him to leave. If people say, Austin, well, don't you think he should step down? And I'm like,
no, God!
No.
No, God, please, no!
Absolutely
no!
not. One, there's the practical perspective. You could say, hey, listen, this guy is the one vote conservative majority, Republican majority in the House of Representatives. That'd be one thing, right? But the second part of this, and the part that it's really, in my own best interest, and I'm just saying in my own best interest, every once in a while I get to be selfish and not have to stand on principle and say that this guy is just absolute media gold. I mean, the guy is
Perfect.
and he really gets people talking. I mean, listen, we had 20 people on the stream. Now I got 35 people hanging out on the stream. So I have to say that, he's definitely good for ratings. He's been caught in a never-ending web of lies about his college education, his employment history, his ethnicity, and other aspects of life. Stephanie and I were getting a real big laugh the other day about me telling Stephanie that he said that he was Jewish, but in reality, he's not Jewish. So he said, I didn't mean that I was Jewish. I meant that I was Jew-ish. I mean, that is hilarious. He's not Jewish. He's Jew-ish, right? He also claimed that his mother died in the September 11th attacks and that his grandparents escaped Nazi persecution in Europe during World War II.
How dare you?
Good God. Santos ignored multiple questions from reporters regarding these lies about his family on Saturday. I mean, everywhere he goes, he's just getting insulted by the reporters. You got to say, I almost feel bad for the guy at a certain point because it's kind of like, he's... It's pretty obvious the guy's got problems. Here's the thing. Hey, the left is all about supporting people for mental health reasons, right? They've got to go out there and support George Santos for that reason, isn't it? Right? He's a magical victim. He's got victimhood status, I have to say, and he's a drag queen. I mean, this guy is like perfect for the left, I have to say. But he's got an R after his name, so they have to try and destroy him. Amanda says, over in the live stream, I would take someone that dresses in drag over someone that does absolutely nothing for the American people like Kevin McCarthy. Give it up for Amanda. I'm agreeing with you there. I have to say, Chris Morrill says, Congress is chock full of liars. He's just next level. I love that. Yeah, agreed very much as well. He seems like the perfect politician, good at lying, says John Knox. Yes. Very good. Can you imagine getting outed as a drag queen as a Republican congressman? I mean, that has just got to be the funniest-ish ever. I mean, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. All right. So for the title segment, Google is terrified. It's afraid of ChatGPT, that new artificial intelligence tool that I keep telling you about that you have got to make use of. It's better than Google. Absolutely better than Google for lots of reasons. We're going to talk about that when we get back in just a couple of minutes on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Good morning to the Cantina crew. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America Show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
my philosophy is much more libertarianism than
Well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian.
And always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
And what is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Thanks for sticking around through the commercials with us this morning. It's time to talk about our signature topic, Google scrambling to catch up in the wake of OpenAI's ChatGPT program. They're terrified. Google, one of the biggest companies on earth, they consider themselves the front door to the internet, and now they're scrambling. Of course, OpenAI, as I've introduced to you before, they're an artificial intelligence company. They're at the forefront of their field. They released ChatGPT, generative AI. The chat bot is basically a question and answer machine. Ask any questions and it responds in plain language. Sometimes it gets the facts straight, sometimes not so much, yeah. But ChatGPT has taken the world by storm with now, I think they said 75 million monthly users, and it just came out like a couple of months ago, right? So right now we're still trying to sort out the impact of this technology, but I can tell you, it has revolutionized what I am doing here at the Wake Up America Show, made my job so much easier, unbelievable amount of productivity, but Google is now freaking out because of this technology. Now, why? Well, because here's the thing. Remember, I don't know if you do any cooking. Let's say, that you're a housewife and, you need a recipe. Let's go over to ChatGPT, give you a demonstration here. So you need a recipe and you don't want to search Google because you know what happens when you search Google. You go over to Google and you type in, give me a recipe for blueberry muffin recipe. Okay? All right, so here we go. All right, well, here's 1, 2, 3. We've got the New York Times. Well, I don't have a subscription to the New York Times, so you'd have to pay for that one. Okay, but then you got to go here. Okay, New York Times. Well, I happen to have a subscription, so it'll actually show it here. But for you, it might not. All right, okay. All right, so we have to read, this recipe came to the Times in a where's the recipe? Okay, all right, now we got to go down here. Okay, there it is. Okay, we got lucky on this one, but you don't have a New York Times subscription, right? You've got to go read Inspired Taste. Watch the video, how to make the best. Oh, let's go. Here we go. Bunch of ads. Here we go. And then there's this description of how to make it. It's like, wait, there we go. Now we're getting down to it. Oh, and it's taking forever to load. You know what? Screw this. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Give me a good blueberry muffin recipe. Type it into ChatGPT and guess what? There's your ingredients list, right? Stop screwing around. See, Google hates this because no Google advertising involved here. right? And you're not having to scroll through dozens of search results to figure out what it is that you want. All I want is my ingredients and my directions. Aren't you tired of hearing somebody's stupid life story about their back history about, oh, my grandma used to teach me how to make these blueberry muffins, and for pages and pages and pages of this crap. And you just want to get the damn thing on I love how you don't assume we waste our money on the New York Times, says Tom D. Of course not. I know that you don't do that. Come on. I'm not stupid. I know that. I read the New York Times. I have a subscription to the New York Times because this is my job and I have to do that. So anyway, so there it is. There's your recipe of how to make blueberry muffins, and that's all it is. I just wanted a recipe. Now, sometimes things can be a little bit wonky on here, and it can get the facts wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to mess it up. It's not going to tell you to put curry in your blueberry muffins. So double check your things like this right here. But I mean, consider this too. Stephanie, my wife, the other day, she has murdered a beautiful plant that I gave her as a gift of love, which was symbolic of our relationship, and now has died. Just kidding, just kidding. A palm tree. It's sort of her favorite plant. So she had a palm tree. She left it outside in the cold and overwatered it, and it is subsequently died. Right. So if she's trying to figure out if there's a way to revive the palm tree, if it could still live, right? So, how can I take care of a palm tree that is dying? Right. Otherwise, you could go to Google and sift through all of their search results. But look, here's ChatGPT. There are several things you can do to try to revive a dying palm tree. Okay, watering. Make sure it's getting enough water, but don't overwater it. They prefer well-drained soil. It should be watered deeply, but infrequently. Fertilizing. Using one fertilizer specifically. You see what I'm going with this, right? I don't need to go through all this here for you. But this is what Google is absolutely terrified by. And they don't want you using ChatGPT. But consider this. I mean, imagine, a lot of you I know don't necessarily work in the creative field, but if you do work in the creative field, I mean, this is a monster. Let's say you work in marketing, for example. It's like, how about this? Come up with a marketing plan for a website devoted to libertarian merchandise, like t-shirts, accessories, mugs, and the like. Okay. An entire marketing plan? No way can it create an entire marketing plan. No way is that going to be able to come like something like that. Here's a basic marketing plan for selling libertarian themed merchandise. Boom. Develop your brand identity. Create your logo, your color scheme, and aesthetic. Build and engage social media following. Check. Done. Right? Use that to promote products. Optimize your website for search engines. Can a ChatGPT do this? Yes. Can Google do that for you? Absolutely not. Google can't do that for you at all. As a matter of fact, how about this? Let's say that you don't know how to code, right? You'd like to build a website, but you're like, it's too intimidating. I don't know how to code. How about this? Build HTML for an advertisement for a gold and silver site that is at learaustin.com. All right, build it. This might not be specific enough to be able to pull this off. All right, stop generating my marketing plan. Host giveaways and contests. We do that here on the Wake Up America show at the end of each month. Paid advertising. I don't really do that yet. Referral program. That's not a bad idea. But build HTML for an advertisement. Okay, sometimes this website gets overloaded because it's so popular. But again, this is Maria's asking if this is an infomercial. No, but I am just bringing this up as an example of why Google is so terrified. Google can't write code for you, right? Look at this. Build HTML for an advertisement for gold and silver site that is at learaustin.com. Look at that. Look at this. It's writing code. Okay. Wow. There you go. Look at this. It's actually building an advertisement. Looking to buy gold and silver. Look no further than AHREF. We offer a wide range of precious metals. Look at this. And you can change the width and the height of this thing. Visit us today to find the perfect edition in your collection. I can go in here and go to my website. Let's say wakeupAmericashow.com. I don't know if I'm going to dox myself here on this one. We'll see. Hopefully not. It won't actually show. I was going to log in with GoDaddy. That's good. So you won't actually see my login. Go in the back end. Oh, there's my customer number. Don't take it and steal it and steal all my property. I'm going to go to, all right, so it's logging me into my website. Now let's go to, let's say, pages, all pages, comments. All right, so the appearance of my website. I want to go to customize my website. Now, it just wrote this code. We have no idea what this code is going to look like, right? Let's go to our appearance settings, general settings, featured area. I'm sorry if some of you find this boring. I find this fascinating. Featured area section. All right, let's add a widget on our front page of the Wake Up America Show website. And we're going to do HTML. It's going to be custom HTML, arbitrary code. And let's take a look at what this Lear Capital, from our sponsors, let's say, from our sponsors. Okay. Now it's saying that it's got some issues here. We don't know for sure. It may not be perfect, but let's just kind of publish it anyway and just see what happens. May have some issues, but who knows? Might have to tweak it. From our sponsors. There it is. Okay. It's not perfect, but let's see. Maybe it needs to see the actual site. Let's scroll down. Yeah. Okay. I don't see it there, but might have to refresh my cache. But I mean, this is just the beginning, right? So you've got an HTML, you've got a basis here to work with, right? It can write you code. It can give you your recipes. It can write you scripts. It can do all kinds. Yeah, Google is terrified of this because this is an absolute game changer for workflows. You don't have to go through all of their you don't have to go through all their search results. You don't have to go through all of their advertising. And so they're scrambling to catch up. They're trying to create a competitor to this. And I have to say, I think that this could absolutely change your workflow as well. I mean, God, the possibilities are endless. I mean, what should I ask ChatGPT? Send me a text at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Anthony Jones, good morning. Welcome to the show. Dances with Squirrels. Nice to see you today. See all of these new subscriptions that we've got, and all of these new people are coming into the stream. It's nice to see you all here today. I hope that you'll consider becoming a member of the show and joining us every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We got Hal Dooley coming in the house here in just a few minutes. Hal Dooley's going to walk in that door, or he's going to ghost us like Brandon Ellison did earlier. And we're going to talk to him about Prince Harry dissing Graceland, and the 5th trove of classified documents were found at Joe Biden's house. He's a disgrace, I tell you, an absolute disgrace. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake, yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes, you like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bush. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bush blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
It's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We haven't seen him for quite a while. One of our favorite guests. It was definitely time to get Hal Dooley back in the house. Good morning, Hal.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming back in here today.
It's always good to see you.
Yes, we're glad to have you here. Hal is joining us in studio. Now, Hal, you are the former head of the Missouri...
The executive director of the Missouri Veterans Commission.
Missouri Veterans Commission,
Yeah,
yes.
We oversee the veterans' homes in the state, the cemeteries in the state, and have 49 veteran service officers that help veterans with claims with the Veterans Administration.
So Hal, and you are also a member of the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yes.
Did you storm the beaches at Okinawa?
I didn't go to Okinawa.
That was a little bit after your time.
Well, it was a little bit.
Before
1966 to 1970, basically, was the time frame I was in.
Yeah. Well, what was the highest rank that you achieved?
Corporal E4.
We call him Corporal Dooley around here.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I had the opportunity to go in the Air Force. My father flew in a B-17 in World War II, but I had an uncle that was an EWO Marine, had gotten on the boat at San Francisco, went out in the Pacific and made it all the way to Iwo Jima, was wounded on the first day and was medevaced out. He's the one that encouraged me to consider the Marine Corps, and his famous quote was, "You'll never learn to lead until you learn to follow." And I took that advice and went in, and I'd do it again. I mean, it'd be nice to be an officer and say, yeah, I was a major or a colonel or all this. But at the same time, I have a lot of pride in the enlisted corps, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, the people that actually did the humping and did the hard work.
Absolutely.
And I have a lot of respect for those people.
Well, thank you for your service. And, of course, thank you to service the good people of Missouri, your time as Veterans Director. And thank you for coming in here today and joining us. We're glad to have your expert advice.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, top of the program here, we're talking about the fifth trove of classified documents found.
Oh, boy.
Oh, come on, Hal. What do you think? What do you think about all this because here's the thing. Can I just say this and I'm going to let you go? I'm going to wind you up and let you go. Can I just say that like it's totally feasible to me that Joe Biden has no idea where the hell anything is because he just doesn't seem as if he's got a clue of where anything else is. Your thoughts on this story?
Well, the first thing is the time frame. He was the vice president, so I don't know why the vice president would have classified documents in his possession. He's had them for at least 4 to 6 years, and he's got people around him. I mean, it's just that, like Joe is the only one at his house, or there are lawyers and just all kinds of professionals that are on the staff that are involved in this. And I don't know why Archives doesn't have somebody that reviews what is retained by the president or the vice president. When you're 6 years out and they're discovering him now, there's got to be some incompetency there and people not doing their job.
Well, the incompetency is one thing. And I mean, I think that that's obvious. When you talk about government is inefficiency and waste and fraud. But here's the thing. Why? It's his own people who are outing him on this one. His own people are going out there doing these investigations and coming with this. I don't think that they suddenly got a bout of conscience, Hal. It's not as if like they said to themselves, oh, we really need to investigate this corruption because corruption is, a Tuesday in the government. So why are they doing this to him?
You want to get into the undertow. That's the thing. Yeah. Joe ain't making it. Yeah. That's what I see. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's got to be within his own realm, people that say, you're really losing it, and I really don't have a lot of confidence in you anymore, and we need to make a power shift eventually. And I see that happening. And I think his people are saying, hey, this guy, we're going to have to distance ourselves from him and get into the next generation, whoever's going to replace Biden on the Democratic ticket.
There it is. So, I mean, that's the conspiracy theorist
in me, right?
I'm thinking that they do want to get rid of him for 2024. Is that what it is? That's the next election. Good God. But here's the thing. Who else? Who else has got? I mean, like Joe Biden, I think won because of Donald Trump. He's running again. So, I mean, who could beat Donald Trump in 2024?
I think that's what the people that we don't know about, the power mongers over in the Democratic side are looking for somebody. Mm-hmm. That's talking Gavin Newsom over in California. I think once he crosses into the United States out of California, he's in deep trouble.
Mm-hmm. So why do you think Biden, stashed these documents away? Are you expecting this as incompetence? Or I mean, because there's not a lot of people out there kind of speculating about the whole thing. Like this could have been deliberate because there is the Hunter Biden angle, staying at that house, and Chinese officials who are paying Hunter Biden, millions of dollars, and then we hear these notes about 10% for the big guy. I mean, there could be some official corruption here too, as well.
There could be, and I would leave room for that thought. But at the same time, I've moved before, and yeah. I know when I got married 3 years into my home occupancy, and my wife went to the basement. What are all these boxes here? Well, they're for when I move. Well, what's in them? I don't know. It's stuff. I had people helping me box things up and get them out. And I think there's a lot of that. I mean, I don't think there's any official procedure when you vacate the White House or what is ever in your possession when you do leave the White House that you should be able to take and you shouldn't be able to take. I think it's just incompetency. It's just to mess with it.
Yeah, don't attribute to malfeasance, which you could, or don't attribute to malevolence that could easily be malfeasance or mistakes, whatever. I don't know what the saying is. All right, Austin sounding like an idiot right now, and they're laughing.
Really? Yeah. There's a whole story in how they're sort of covering it up by not covering it up.
Right.
Well, you caught me. You caught me. I'm doing everything I can to comply with it. Well, that should have happened 6 years ago is when it should have happened. So, but that's not legal defense, is it?
But here's the thing. Is Attorney General Merrick Garland, you really think he's going to go after him? I mean, is he?
Oh, not if he wants to keep his job.
Can you prosecute a sitting president? I mean, that became a question during the Trump era, remember?
No, I don't. I think you could.
Right.
But at the same time,
they never got Richard Nixon. He resigned before they did it. But I don't see Joe Biden trying to step down at any point in this.
No, I think they're probably trying to put him into a box.
Yeah.
To accept resignation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're talking to him about that. Of course, Joe's so prideful that he just can't do anything else.
Mm-hmm. Chris Morrill says it's refreshing to see an administration not enthusiastically obstructing an investigation, but it's early yet. Kay Moore says, one thing, there is no time in history where a party replaced their incumbent. When the party has won that race, they have to replace him while in office. So that's their theory. Send us a text on yours. at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. One listener texted in this morning for the first time ever, said, "Hey, Austin, glad you're back on for a morning show." Well, we're glad to have you. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Wake Up America show has really been growing like crazy these days. Glad to have you as a listener. Said, used to listen to KWS almost every day. Remember, Hal Dooley's joining us from KWOS. He says, have you heard the conspiracy that Nixon told a high-ranking FBI officer that he knew who killed JFK, and 4 days later, Watergate happened? Well, I don't know, but I would guess that Watergate was probably planned more than 4 days in advance. Who knows? Somebody else sent us a text in and says that maybe Prince Harry Pothead, because we're going to talk about Prince Harry in a minute. Prince Harry Pothead grew up in Bucktooth Palace. Who's he to complain about Graceland? Maybe he should go dress up as a Nazi again and shut his mouth. Ouch! That's
dare you?
Very cruel. We are going to goof on Prince Harry here in just a few minutes. But before we do that, can I switch topics here, Hal? And have you been paying attention to this George Santos character out of New York?
I don't get that.
Did you see the whole drag queen stuff?
No, I didn't see the whole drag queen stuff. I really didn't. I'm trying to get past the Columbia incident. So.
Oh my God. Okay. So here's the deal. So George Santos, there's photographs that came out that he was being accused of dressing in drag and doing a drag like pride show down in Brazil back in like 2005. I got to leave the camera on Hal so you can see his facial expressions. And he denied it, of course. But since he denied it and he lies about everything, you should just assume it's true. Well, guess what? It's true. He Republican congressman from New York, dressed up in drag and denied it. He says that he did dress in drag, but he wasn't a queen.
See, that's Austin. That's why I can't run for office.
Don't lie to me and tell me.
I cannot run for political office because I've dressed in drag before.
Shut up.
Absolutely.
You've dressed in drag?
Oh, yeah. I even acted like I was a priest one time. I when you're growing up, everything sort of interests you. Well, settle down now. Settle down.
God, this is getting good. This is getting so good.
I don't mind it. I'm just a normal human being. But I was in a civic club with a bunch of other young people, and they came to my house one night, and we decided we were going to go out trick-or-treating in our neighborhood.
Oh my
so
God,
a couple of the guys said, "Why don't we just dress up a bunch of little old ladies and go out and knock on doors?" So that's what we did.
Okay, all right. So wait a minute.
Something like that is an entirely different arena than what we're talking about.
You didn't dress up in drag and go out to a pride show.
No. But I don't mind telling, because I think young people.
Yeah, no. When I was
about that.
Yeah, no. When I was in college, I think for Halloween I dressed up as a woman, right? But
it's not my thing. Trust me, I like being a guy. I really like being a guy.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Glad to hear that, Tal. I'm glad that you like being a guy. Oh my God.
And everything that goes along with it, just like you do.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But then again, we're supremacists and
white supremacists and bigots and misogynists and homophobes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm Austin Peterson, and I'm speaking to my buddy Hal Dooley. We both live in Jefferson City together, and he is.
Wait a minute.
Well, he lives in Jefferson City, and I live in the county.
We don't live together in Jefferson City.
No.
Okay.
We don't live together in Jefferson City.
People make issue of that. They'll take that sentence and okay.
By the way, I got to give Quest Fanning the credit for the Prince Harry Pothead in Bucktooth Palace joke. That was a very good one. Thanks, Quest, for that one. Another listener from the 417, that's Southwest Missouri. Our buddy Robbie said, Biden is an embarrassment for the Democrats. This is an excuse to throw him under the bus without looking like they're throwing him under the bus. That was a good one. You can text the show too at 573-319-1586. Quote of the day by Hal, which I'm going to pin on the YouTube channel, is, "Trust me, I like being a guy and everything that goes along with it." I do too, Hal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I digress just a little bit back to Biden?
You've got a minute 30. Go ahead.
Don't you think that they, when in the primaries, when he was dead last and wasn't going anywhere, that they put him in there, and now that they have their narrative and the policies going, this is now, they always wanted to do this. Biden was never going to go 4 years in their mind, but he would set the agenda on what they wanted to do. All his issues that we have today.
I think they tried to go with the most inoffensive person they could, because I think too many people have been turned off by Donald Trump. And they said, we just need to find somebody who's got a warm body, right? And they would beat Trump. And somebody who's completely, who's got the experience, who can just be normal and rational. Uncle Joe. Totally normal.
He's going to bring everybody together and sing Kumbaya.
They did, and they beat Trump. And, now we're in the situation we're at, where our economy is tanking, our stock market is crashing, the value of our dollar is destroyed, and, we've got Congressman dressing in drag.
And I hope they got a bunch of people out there just like me that are very unhappy.
I'm sure there are, but not enough to give us a red wave. Maybe we need to talk about that before we hit Prince Harry Pothead and Bucktooth Palace when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupamericashow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupamericashow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupamericashow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself. Oh, me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great. Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, it's 8:21. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Joining us in studio today is our friend Hal Dooley. Good morning, Hal.
Good morning, Austin.
Thanks for sticking around with us today.
Oh, love being here.
We appreciate you very much. You can send a text to the show at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Hal, what do you think of this Prince Harry character?
I think more of Meghan than I do the Prince.
You like that, Meghan Markle?
I do. When she was on television, the Suits, she was pretty enticing. She really was.
Yeah, I'm sure Prince Harry thought the same thing. That's probably why he married her. But she's kind of had him under her thumb ever since they got together. It's been kind of a weird relationship to watch. And now that they've kind of taken in the United States as their adoptive country, because it wasn't Meghan Markle Canadian, if I understand correctly.
I think she was.
She was Canadian, and then of course Prince Harry, being British, they've decided to make the United States their home, and they've had some things to say about the United States since they moved here. Which I don't know about you, Hal, how you feel about British people, but it's like, yeah, they're our ally and all that kind of stuff, but whenever a British person says something about the United States that's unkind or perhaps just a blanch of criticism, I don't know, I get all George Washington up.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That's what
I would have been in a boat with George Washington fighting the British back in the day.
Exactly. You would have crossed the Delaware.
I'd have crossed the Delaware with him. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, apparently he is unimpressed with the King of Rock and Roll's historic home, according to his new book that's out here on the bookshelves. In his new autobiography called Spare, Harry described being unimpressed with Graceland, the former home of Elvis Presley. Here's his quote. He says, "People variously called the house a castle, a mansion, a palace, but it reminded me of the Badger set. Dark, claustrophobic. I walked around saying, 'The king lived here, you say? Really?'" Yeah, Elvis lived at Graceland from the 50s until the 1970s. Harry quipped that whoever picked out the decor of the famous residence must have been on drugs. He recalled, "I stood in one tiny room with loud furniture and shag carpet and thought, the king's interior designer must have been on acid." This gets 600,000 tourists a year. Graceland does. 200,000 square feet of space, restaurants, gift shops, all kinds of stuff like that. It's the second most visited house in the country, behind the White House. So your thoughts on Prince Harry's thoughts on Graceland?
I betcha Harry does not like peanut butter and banana sandwiches either. So here you go again with the snootiness and the hoity-toity of the British culture. I don't think most of us, and I don't speak for most of us, but I don't think most of us really care for Britain and how they live in their homes and their businesses and their attitude toward things. I tell you what they do like. They like the capitalistic opportunities that the United States offers them to make millions of dollars off of our economy and our culture and our way of life. And then to turn around and kick the king, in the rear. That's bad. That's bad form.
Now, you know how I feel about Elvis, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because Al and I have had this conversation before.
But you put it in context.
Right. If we were doing one of those polls, my dad used to say that back in the day on the radio, they used to always do who do you like the best? Do you like Elvis or the Beatles? And that Elvis would always win all the polls all the time on the radio stations back in the day. I would have voted for the Beatles. But, here's the thing. The only thing that could make me defend Elvis is some limey Brit stepping up into my country and telling me, "Oh, Graceland, this is where the home of the king, blah, 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 blah." It's Screw you, buddy. Go back to England.
Elvis was just a country boy,
Mm-hmm.
grew up in poverty, but had a charismatic sense about himself.
Mm-hmm.
And Colonel Parker took not advantage of it, but took it and ran with it and developed it. But he was still a country boy growing up in Mississippi, Tupelo, Mississippi. You can't take that out of him. And that's why I like that. The Beatles are the same way. They came from, I won't say poverty, but they came from hardworking, middle-class British families. Mm-hmm. And they came to the United States, saw the capitalism. So I see a lot of the similarities. But I'm like you. I would have voted for the Beatles over the King, although it would be pretty close.
Do you have any favorite Beatles songs?
Submarine. Yeah.
What are your favorite
Strawberry
Beatles?
Fields?
Strawberry Fields. Wow, you like the later. You like the later.
Yeah,
you like the psychedelic.
Well,
era.
I Want to Hold Your Hand. I was in high school when the Beatles hit, and all those songs back to back. You played them all the time.
Okay, so you kind of got sick of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, the old era is what I like about the Beatles. Like, yeah, I wanna hold your hand. That the whole like British era, invasion era. That was for me. Those were the best years of the Beatles. But I've always been like a big doo-wop, golden oldies, Motown era. That's my jam because I was raised on that kind of music.
Dave Clark 5,
yes.
Mitch Ryder, Detroit Wheels, one of the locals here from Detroit.
Really?
Well, not local, like Missouri, but
okay.
United States.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. What do you think? What was your favorite Beatles era? The first era, the second era? Send us a text at 573-319-1586. Dances with Squirrels says Sgt. Pepper's. Okay, so that was a new one. That one for me, definitely love Sgt. Pepper. But that one has got that's rock and roll. That song.
It is rock and roll.
The top of his lungs, you're like, yeah.
Can I make a little editorial comment
go ahead.
there?
Go ahead.
When you saw them on Ed Sullivan, I mean, they were dressed in suits, had a plain background, and you saw the talent. You could hear what they had to say. You heard the voices and stuff. What is going on today? Everything is electronics and just, fire and flame and everything else. And
I love that song. I love that, but honestly, I like electronic dance music a whole lot. But I can understand why you would not care for it. What my favorite Beatles song is though is Eleanor Rigby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that song. It's so sad and so melancholy, but it just for some reason really speaks to me because the lyrics are just so meaningful. Look at all the lonely people. Right, picks up the rice in the church where a wedding has been, lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. I mean, who is it for? Oh God, it just to me, I don't know, just really, I don't know. It's so deep.
It is, and it's similar to the 50s and 60s ballads that we used to have.
Like what?
Heartbreaks, all the Diane and all these different melodies where you break up with them and you're heartbroken, you can't get her back and all this. And that was really the theme of a lot of the ballads and stuff, and that's what we dug on because that's what we were going through in those days. With initial dating, and you date somebody and she breaks up with you. And you're just heartbroken, and then you go to find somebody else. And
our friend Boris the Blade parody troll over on Twitter says that he prefers the psychedelic era Beatles, Revolver and later. Yeah, I totally get it. Stephanie, my wife, who's watching over there on the stream, says that she likes the song Penny Lane. Yes. While my guitar gently weeps. Andy Opperman dropping in there. See, exactly. And all those songs that we've listed right there are better than any Elvis song. I mean, what's your favorite Elvis song, would you say? What's
the Wedding Chapel song?
Which is what?
Crying in Chapel.
How does that go?
I don't know. I'm one of those guys that wasn't a lyrics guy.
Okay, but here's the thing. What's the best Elvis song? Just what's the absolute best?
No, I couldn't tell you that. I liked a lot of them.
Okay, but what would you say was his greatest hit?
You got me stumped.
Okay,
I mean, not stumped, but like I said,
what we could ask the intelligence. Elvis's
in the know
number one greatest hit. See, I'm going to Google instead of ChatGPT because I don't have the time. Top selling. What is Elvis's number one hit of all time? Don't Be Cruel. Okay. Don't Be Cruel. Okay.
I would not have guessed that.
I wouldn't have either. But here's the thing. Don't Be Cruel compared to Eleanor Rigby or Penny Lane or While My Guitar Gently Weeps, it doesn't hold a candle to it. Now maybe you could say Heartbreak Hotel or Jailhouse Rock or something like that kind of like approaches the Beatles. But to me, Elvis is just like pure pop entertainment versus the Beatles, which is like a meaningful sort of like, thought-provoking experience. And it is rock and roll as well. I don't know. That's just my opinion, Hal, but I've never been a big Elvis fan because I just think it's so hokey, schlocky. So for old ladies to get horny. Are you lonesome tonight? It's like it's annoying.
Well,
it's not for men. It's not music for men. Elvis is for chicks.
Well, then I digress and I say, Harry is from Britain,
Yes.
and he expresses his personal views, and we don't like them for the most part. The Beatles come over and showcase their talent. And, when they were interviewed by Ed Sullivan and others, they had very little to say about their backgrounds and what they thought politically or socially.
Oh, God, I know.
But it's interesting because they're both British, yet, the music and the talent shown on one side, and then Harry's personality and personal thoughts show on the other. But it's interesting, the two different cultures within the culture of the British. It's amazing. It really is.
Cecilia over in the live stream says Hound Dog and Devil in Disguise. Okay, Hound Dog, yeah, I can get down with Hound Dog a little bit. Devil in Disguise, it's okay. She says Can't Help Falling in Love. See, that's that schlocky.
Heartstrings.
Yeah, that's that schlocky. I can see why she likes it. You know what I mean? Because the problem too with
That
Elvis
doesn't
songs
get to you.
is they take forever. It's like and you know what he's gonna say? I can't help falling in love with, and it's like, just get to it, like pick it up.
Oh,
pick up
that's
the beat.
just the maleness in you.
I don't know. Yeah, well, because it's
Get on with it.
because you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Pick it up, pick it a beat. That's rock and roll, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? If I want to listen to a ballad, I'll watch a musical theater production or something like that, where it's like, they're actual acting and emotion involved, and there's a story and characters and a plot. I guess I don't know. Did you see the new Elvis movie, by the way?
No.
I didn't see it either. I watched the first 5 minutes of it. It was like, I like Baz Luhrmann, who's the director of it. He did Moulin Rouge and Romeo and Juliet, but it's very in your face with all switching cameras all the time, and it's moving so quickly all the time. And it's kind of like, whoa. I guess I'm getting old because I'm just like, it's just an overindulgence of visual effects, and I'm kind of like, okay. And I guess Elvis probably deserves that treatment, that kind of glitzy, glam, Las Vegas, modern treatment, but it's just a little bit too much for me. So I turned it off after 5 minutes. I'm like, this is just too much for me. So I'm getting old and I'm getting crotchety, Hal. That's just what it is, I guess. Eventually I'll start disliking the music that's coming out. I just don't yet.
I just don't want people meddling with my memories.
I get it. Your memories, your music is your nostalgia. Yeah, I understand. So that's why people are probably really, they get upset when I talk smack about Elvis. But I can talk smack about Elvis. Prince Harry cannot.
Well, and that's the whole issue right there.
Yeah.
He has no basis. He has no background to talk about American culture.
Exactly. Quest Fanning says Pink Floyd for the win.
Wow.
I never really listened to Pink Floyd.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Boris the Blade over on Twitter, he's still talking to us over there, says he likes Elvis too. Definitely Jailhouse Rock is good. Strawberry Fields for the Beatles. You know my name. Look up the number for obscurity. I have no idea. That is pretty obscure. Florida. Do you like Florida?
Yeah, I do. The old people are the new young people there.
I'll have to have you explain that to us.
I would be happy to do that.
All right, well, we'll have you do that when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Good morning to the Cantina crew. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America Show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian, and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
If I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? You can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We're still joined in studio by Hal Dooley. Hal, how are you, bud?
Doing very well, thank you.
Glad to have you here today. We appreciate you taking the time and joining us on the program as well. Hal, you and I were talking during the commercial break there. I saw that one of my videos that I posted over on TikTok has been taken down off of the platform. It is deemed to be a violation of integrity and authenticity. Yeah.
And that involving the deep state. And what is the deep state?
Yeah. So I'm gonna play the video clip. And this is Edie, actually, who was joining us in studio last week. You might hear her voice as well. But this is just a little simple 1-minute explanation of me explaining what the deep state is. So let's take a listen to this. and then we'll talk about it. The deep state, defined as I see it, is not some conspiracy theory.
No, he's brought that to.
To me, as I understand the deep state is the bureaucracy and the bureaucrats that are in it that never change,
and they're not elected officials,
and they're unelected, and they stay there between administrations, and no matter what the policy is,
they do their own thing.
They do whatever they want,
and
even if the president has demanded a different policy. And I think that mostly they work on the behalf of Democrats.
Absolutely.
And they work to undermine Republicans.
Absolutely.
And we've seen that with Donald Trump's administration.
Yes.
And I find that to be...
It's disgusting.
Anathema. So there it is. That's the video. It says, video removed. This video violates our community guidelines, according to TikTok, on integrity and authenticity. They say that they don't allow activities that undermine the integrity of their platform because they remove content that involves spam or fake engagement, impersonation, or misleading information that causes significant harm. Well, that's interesting, Hal. I thought that pretty much it was... I didn't think that there was anything misleading or, anything would cause significant harm by just explaining that, the bureaucracy doesn't change between administrations. I mean, what's misleading or would cause harm about that?
I thought you did fine until you theorized that it was mostly Democrats trying to undermine Republicans. And of course, TikTok is about as liberal as you can get, and you're picking on their buddies, the Democrats, and that's where authenticity and bias shows.
Yes, so I don't have any integrity for arguing that the deep state works on behalf of the Democrats the majority of the time. The reason I believe that is because the Democrats are the party of government.
Yes.
And, to a certain extent, there are Republicans, not all of them, but many of them in the Republican Party, who work against big government and who are not fans of the deep state or the bureaucracy and would like to see it reformed. And that's why they work against those officials, those Republican officials, if the administration comes in like an administration like Donald Trump, for example. I thought what was interesting too was that when I posted that video, that there were plenty of people who were saying things like, "Well, that's good. They're there to save us from Donald Trump." So they're not denying that the deep state exists and is working.
Oh no, the deep state does exist. I don't think that's a factual contention at all. But what did Donald Trump do policy-wise that's so offensive to the American people?
He
putting America first is un-American. Is that un-American?
Yeah, well, it is to the communist Chinese who own TikTok,
and the people who think that way in the United States.
Yeah, it's fascinating what they decide to take down off of that platform. They took down a video of me and Camellia talking about. We just asked the question: is Andrew Tate a good role model? And you don't know who he is, do you?
No.
Okay, he's just kind of like this influencer guy who's like a former kickboxer who was in Romania. He got arrested. He's running cam websites. He's kind of like a motivational speaker for young guys where he tells them to treat women like crap in order to get females and stuff. I know it's weird, Hal.
That's not good.
I know it's not good. But here's the thing: we were saying that it's not good how he behaves, but I said that feminism in the United States has got to undergo a change because. Camellia says, men need to man up and not be looking at this guy as a role model. I was like, well, if men need to man up, then women need to women up. And so I think that's probably what got it taken down off of TikTok as hateful ideology. Hateful ideology.
If it's hateful,
yeah,
manipulative, challenging, yes, but not hateful.
Yeah, I agree, Al. It's not a hateful ideology. It's where they took down the Ronald Reagan video that I did about the guns that were owned by Ronald Reagan, and then they restored it. They took down my video on Franklin Delano Roosevelt, guns that he owned, and then I uploaded it again, and then they left it, and they didn't take it down. They took down the video that I did about guns that were owned by Abraham Lincoln, and then they restored it after I appealed it. TikTok wants you to post pictures of your breasts to talk about cutting off your penis, and they don't want you to talk about things like what guns were owned by presidents, what caliber those guns were in. You can show people shooting fully automatic machine guns on TikTok, but if you dare educate people about history, or if you dare tell them, the truth about the bureaucracy of the deep state that works against the interests of the American people, China doesn't like that.
No, China doesn't.
China doesn't want you to know that kind of stuff, right? I have a conspiracy theory about TikTok, and my conspiracy theory is that TikTok is being manipulated by the Chinese government to influence the minds of young people in the United States in a culture war, and they are elevating the dumbest among us, the stupidest videos, those with the people who advocate for everybody should have a mental illness, you should be a victim, Black Lives Matter. My conspiracy theory is that TikTok is being manipulated by the Chinese government to work against the interests of the United States, and they're doing that through this app and working against American culture. And if you are a believer in Americanism, if you're a believer of Donald Trump, if you're a believer in America First, if you want to make America great again, you will be removed from that platform and eventually, be completely banned from TikTok.
And the avenue for the Chinese and the communists and Marxists is our educational system.
Mm-hmm.
And we can show the fruits of that now, very evident.
Mm.
In an educational system all the way from elementary school all the way up to college.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. So let's switch topics here and stop ripping on TikTok because we all know TikTok sucks. You can text the show at 573-319-1586. I read this story yesterday and I thought this would be a good one for Hal. This is an op-ed that was written in the New York Post by a woman named Cindy Adams, and she says, Florida is a snooze fest compared to New York. She says, Florida's got nothing on New York. She says, enough with people schlepping to Florida. She says, Florida began 1,400 years ago. Nobody younger has been there since. Those in the state now could have been original settlers. Their average age is deceased. She says, reports of how wonderful the place is start mouthing the minute transplants leave the JetBlue restroom. It's got beaches, sand, sky, ocean, warmth, hurricanes, crocodiles, galleries, also palms. Not leafy ones that provide shade for juniors, outstretched ones that provide service for seniors. These palms have specific assignments, like driving Madam's car by day. By night, just simply driving Madam. She says, I'm a New Yorker, born, bred, educated, schooled, work in New York. Even my dog's a Yorkie. Never leave. She says, should pardon the vulgarity. De Blasio and his mathematically enhanced wife come back, I'll still be here. Those cheapo Dutchmen who bought the place a few hundred years ago didn't love this city more. She says late dinner reservations in Florida are by 5 p.m. By 7:15, restaurants are already resetting for prunes and oatmeal. No social life, sequins, beads, fringe, jewelry, big flowers, big BS. Next most prolific item in Florida, Hal? Hearing aids. Florida restaurants come with whirring fans, plus broiled fish and no gravy, no dressing, no fried. Can't even hear yourself tell the waiter, no salt. Everybody shouts, nobody hears. In Palm Beach, you read collagen lips. Seniors shout to make themselves heard. Dinner's the big thing. The one late night event after 5 p.m. Always early because bedtime's 9:15 p.m. That's what my bedtime is. She says that she wants people to shut up about knocking New York. Between New York or Florida, if you had to choose where to live, New York City or Palm Beach, Florida, Hal?
Florida.
Hell yeah, Florida.
Not necessarily Palm Beach, Florida, but Florida.
Well, if you got to choose where to live in Florida, what part of Florida?
No, Fort Myers. And absolute is Pensacola on the Panhandle.
Really? Why do you like the Panhandle?
It's more northern.
What do you mean?
Well, Pensacola basically is more of a town that you could identify with in mid United States.
Huh.
I mean, they have shopping centers and stuff like that. We just came from Destin, Florida, spent the Christmas down there, and it's touristy. It's the beaches and the sands and 18-story condos. Now there's you talk about Florida. How would you spend that kind of money, be on the 18th floor of a condo looking at the ocean every day? Would you spend that kind of money? No, I wouldn't. But some people do because they keep building them.
Yeah. Florida is more chill. NYC is where you hustle, says Steffi on the live stream. Yes. Tolly Owen says the Panhandle. She's a panhandler, that's for sure. What part of Florida is that person living in, asks Amanda over on the live stream. Not quite sure. Good morning from the sunny state of Arizona, says Joni Rankin. Good morning, Joni. Nice to see you today. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. Hal, real quick, before we finish this topic, I've got to ask you a favor, or I ask you a question. Did you call Lear Capital and get your free gold and silver packet from them?
Not yet, because you didn't send me the information.
I did. texted it to you.
You got to text it again too.
Okay, I'm going to text it to you.
Okay. 'Cause I want to do that.
Well, here's the thing. So the economy's not looking so hot, right? Our investments are not looking so hot.
I'm going to come back and talk about that someday.
Crypto is not looking so hot. Like the whole stock market is a mess, and it's supposed to get worse. Are you seeing all these companies doing these layoffs? If you're going to spend money, if you've got extra cash in 2023, where are you going to put it?
Crypto.
I'm going to put mine in gold and silver.
Well, you can do that also.
I'm going to put mine in gold.
I'm just defending crypto because I like the system.
I do too, yeah.
I like the system.
If I have extra cash this year, I'm going to buy some gold.
And I'm 100% behind that because commodity is everything.
Here's the thing, China's buying it up like crazy.
I know.
They're buying up gold, tons and tons of gold. I'm going to get me some gold bars. I'm going to get some, lots of big ones.
You send me the information and I'll pull the trigger on that.
So here's the thing. If you are interested at all in investing in gold, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to have thousands and thousands of dollars, buy giant gold bars, right? You can take a little bit of your retirement and invest it in gold, right? And you're like, oh, well, can I own the physical gold? Yeah, you'll own the physical gold if you have a gold IRA, but you're going to need more information first. So here's what I'm going to recommend to you now. Visit my friends at Lear Capital at learaustin.com. That's LEARAUSTIN.com. Help support the show by visiting our sponsor, learaustin.com. Get a free gold and silver packet. They'll send it to you in the mail, or they'll send you a digital version, whichever one that you prefer. You can also call that number on the screen, 1-800-885-2175, and ask them to send you that gold and silver packet. Tell them Austin Peterson sent you over at Lear Capital to help support the program. It's a free way to support the show. You just, you give them a business lead. They try and sell you more gold and silver. You can buy, you can not buy. It's up to you. Take a portion of your retirement, put it in a gold IRA. Just buy gold or silver coins, whichever one you like. So check them out at learaustin.com. All right. Well, we've got a couple more minutes left to go. Hal, what should we talk about before we go?
Gold.
We should talk about
gold.
I want to talk about the economy.
Make
go
a
ahead.
comment.
Make your comment.
If you had a choice 30 years ago, as I did, to establish a 401k relying on stocks and bonds, or gold and silver, and where would you be today? Now, I chose 401k because that's what the employer did. But I think you'd be better off if you owned gold and silver today, had invested in it 30 years ago as compared to 401k in the stock market today. And that's what the Lear is saying is take a look at this, show it the performance and what the future performance is going to be, and I think you'll be better off.
Well, everybody knows knows anything about investing is that you should always have a portion of your portfolio invested in precious metals.
Absolutely.
Because it just over time, it's a guarantee that the Federal Reserve is going to increase the money supply. They're going to devalue the dollar. And, inversely, you're going to have an increase in the price of value of commodities. So it's, and owning other commodities is good too, right? Owning the gold, and not just gold and silver, but, oil and wheat. And
forest products are another good investment because it's renewable. And
wood.
Wood is, but I have bought silver coins for years.
Oh, really?
I enjoy silver coins.
Yeah. A lot of my friends are big silver coin collectors. They like to dabble in coin collecting and things like that. But I never really got into it. But I'm more of a steel and iron in the shape of a tube with a trigger on the end of it investment kind of a guy. But those have also been good investments over the years.
M1A, M14. I've got a bead on one, and I'm going to get the 20 round mags.
Oh, nice! You found an M14 that you want to get?
Yes, I did. I found a friend at the American Legion that's got one. He's had it since 1986, and he's getting to the point where he wants to sell it to somebody that has a respect and interest in firearms. And of course, that's what I carried in Vietnam was an M14, and I have an opportunity now to buy one at a reasonable price.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to do it. But I want the 20 mags. The
20 round mag.
20 round mags. I don't want the 10 round. Or
what does it shoot?
What's 7.62? Or 308 equivalent here.
Okay, so it shoots a 308.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, those things are powerful rifles.
Man. They are.
It was the next iteration of the M1 Garand, from the M1 to the M14.
M14. Then we went to the M16, 1967. Colt made it. They rushed him into Vietnam. They jammed up and stuff, and that's a whole different conspiracy.
Well, they didn't invest in the chrome line barrels.
No, they did.
It was too wet in the jungles, and so it just
It's all about money.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, to me, the most fascinating like history in terms of war, the biggest blunders that you've seen from Adolf Hitler and his understanding of the assault rifle is the lack of proper research and investment into small arms technology. Right, the basic like one weapon that small arm that the soldier carries is the one thing that every dictator, president, or whoever has really failed to has missed the boat on in terms of proper investment and time spent. But it's because people at the top always want these wonder weapons. They want the big bombs, they want the nuclear things, they want the thing that's going to end the war. But they don't realize that like properly maintained small arms is really what's going to win the war at the end of the day. Can you imagine if Hitler had invested all of his time and energy instead of trying to build a V2 rockets, which did nothing but harden the back of British resolve and in the Blitz and all that? If he had just invested all of his time and energy and taken the Sturmgewehrs, the 44s, and taken those things and put those out on the front line on every imagine if the American troops would have had to face M1 Garands versus those full auto assault rifles that they had in the Eastern Front. I think they didn't really see a lot of combat against the Americans, but the STG 44s were used a lot in like.
So it would have made a difference.
Oh, it made a huge difference, an enormous difference. But they don't care. They don't think about the frontline soldier. Just give them whatever they need to have the best possible, but at the lowest possible cost. It's like whenever you hear liberals talking about, oh, he had a military grade rifle, and it's like, okay, so they had a rifle that was built by the lowest bidder.
And basically, that's what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sure. I love the AR-15 platform.
Yeah, I like it too. I don't know if I like it better than the AK-47 platform.
Now, see, I don't know because I've not really fired or been familiarized with the 47.
Yeah, so I have both, and I have to say that in terms of just like simplicity, usability, as much as I like the AR-15, I think if I had to go to battle, I would take the AK-47 just because it's so much easier to maintain. It's so much easier to clean. It's it's got
a lot to do with it.
It's so simple. When you take apart an AK-47 and it's just like chook done, right? An AR-15 is like all these little like technical aspects and stuff like that. It's just like if you got to go to war with something, like I need something that's durable, it's not going to break, that's simple. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. We shouldn't have gotten this conversation.
Keep this for a different day.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. What are our listeners saying today? These are the things that it said. I've shot at M14, says Robbie. First round, center mass. Second shoulder. The rest were anti-aircraft. Oh, that's interesting. Anti-aircraft. I have no idea. Erica says that she loves living in Florida. She had hurricanes this past season, and I'll still never leave. John Knox says Florida would be great in winter and somewhere like Montana in summer. Tolly says Destin's a bit too touristy, but there's great shopping and you can't beat the beaches. Amanda likes Treasure Island. She thought it'd be way more touristy, but it wasn't after all. Well, have a great day, all. We all appreciate you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Hal, thanks so much for having us today. Yeah, grateful to have you here today. We appreciate it. We'll definitely have you back again real soon. Yeah, thanks so much for watching the Wake Up America show. Stick around for a word from our sponsors before you leave. Make sure you like the stream, right? Hit that video, hit the like, subscribe, click that bell notification icon. If you haven't seen my Guns of the President series, definitely do that. I got the playlist over there on YouTube for you at youtube.com/AP for Liberty. AP for Liberty. Check out the Guns of the President series and my new series, Philosophy series, Philosophites. Little 1-minute explainers on different philosophies of the world. Check that out as well. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Wave goodbye, Hal.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.